This is 9 News with Cameron Williams.
Good afternoon. Radio host Alan Jones is facing overwhelming backlash for his heartless slur against the Prime Minister. Jones said Julia Gillard's late father, John, quote, died of shame because his daughter is a liar.
This was a very different Alan Jones in front of the microphone today. There was no controversy, just a confession.
There are days when you just have to concede and man up and say, you got it wrong.
And contrition.
In the light of everything unacceptable, they merit an apology from me.
A fierce critic of Julia Gillard's government, Jones was caught out last week by a News Limited journalist armed with a tape recorder.
Every person in the caucus of the Labor Party knows that Julia Gillard's a liar. Everybody. I'll come to that in a moment. The old man must be nice and he was going, shame to think that he had a daughter and told lies every time she was in Parliament.
He was speaking at a Sydney University Liberal club just 2 weeks after the death of the Prime Minister's father.
Which was a bit of a smart aleck remark, and if I've got to be belted up for it, well, so be it.
And the punches came thick and fast.
There are no Liberal voters I know, or Liberal MPs, who would echo that sentiment. They'd be appalled by it, as I am.
Politicians and an old radio rival.
He's hated women for a long time, but this was an act of vicious bullying that he thought he could get away with in a private audience.
Twitter also went into overdrive. Kevin Rudd declared the comments the lowest of the low. Even Jones's beloved Liberal Party turned on him. Malcolm Turnbull said the comments were cruel and offensive. In a statement, Tony Abbott said the remarks were completely out of line. And that was very much the opinion out on Jones's so-called struggle street.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible.
He's overstepped the line again.
The broadcaster said he tried to contact the Prime Minister, but Julia Gillard won't be taking his call. And while today's news conference was to explain himself and say sorry, Jones couldn't leave the government alone.
When you say there won't be a carbon tax, and it does happen, when you say there's going to be grocery watch and it doesn't happen, when you say there's fuel watch and it doesn't happen.
He will be back on air on Tuesday and is confident advertisers, sponsors and listeners will join him. Damien Ryan, 9 News.
An amazing outpouring of grief for Jill Meagher has spilled onto the streets of Melbourne. Today, a shocked community gathered for a peace march to remember the murdered 29-year-old.
Sydney Road at a standstill as tens of thousands marched for Jill. Filling both lanes of traffic, the massive crowd streamed down the street the murdered 29-year-old was last seen. At midday, strangers gathered side by side at Moreland Road. For many, just being there was a comfort.
It helps everybody feel a bit better about it.
But it was also about taking a stand.
The message is that her death should not be in vain and that she should be remembered.
Let's encourage peace and love amongst each other.
The masses came to a standstill outside the bridal shop where Jill was last seen on CCTV footage talking to a man in a blue hoodie. They then continued down the street where the 29-year-old walked along early last Saturday morning but never made it home.
This huge turnout shows just how big an impact this awful story has had on the community. And many people here say they feel a sense of comfort from gathering together.
Some stopped to sign petitions for more to be done to make the streets safer before the crowd gathered in Princess Park for a moment of silence for Jill's husband Tom and her family. Chloe Bugelli, 9 News.
A woman is dead and a 37-year-old man is fighting for his life after a horror smash at Emu Plains. The four-wheel drive left the M4, then collided with the pylon last night. The holiday weekend road toll stands at 3. An Australian tourist has been rescued after she was kidnapped, along with a British woman, in a remote area of the Amazon jungle. The Department of Foreign Affairs says the pair is now in the care of Ecuadorian authorities. Well, excitement is building for the NRL Grand Final all day. Bulldogs fans have been gearing up for what's set to be a thrilling battle against the Melbourne Storm. We're live at ANZ Stadium and at the home of the Bulldogs in Belmore. But first, here's how the Dogs had their day.
They're loud. They're proud. And and they're certain they're in for a win.
Doggies all the way.
And we can do it. In Des we trust.
In Canterbury Heartland, the celebrations could just about rival the intensity of the match. The streets awash with blue and white. At the stadium, the Doggies Army were rolling in early to secure a seat for the ultimate contest.
If the Doggies can pull it off this afternoon, this will be the first time ever that Sydney can really rub Melbourne's nose in it, winning the two biggest football titles in Australia and all on one weekend.
It's Sydney Swans number 1, it's Canterbury Bankstown number 2, and it's just going to be like that all the ways.
In just over an hour, a season's work will be on the line. Jessica Rich, 9 News.
Bring the noise, and it looks like they're doing it. Erin Molan is at the sold-out ANZ Stadium at Olympic Park. Erin, what a buzz out there.
Cam, it's absolutely amazing. You can tell it's grand final day. You can hear the music behind me. It is such a party, carnival-like atmosphere out here. Look, people started arriving at 7 a.m. this morning for this game. Look, they are expecting over 83,000 people, and it will come as no surprise to you. The blue and whites are very much outnumbering the purple support, a lot more Doggies fans, but look, either way, regardless of the ratio, the atmosphere inside will be absolutely electric, and I cannot wait for kickoff. It's been such a big build-up. Can't wait.
Absolutely, Erin. It should be just an absolutely cracking game. Matt Snelson is at the Canterbury Leagues Club, home to the Bulldogs. And Matt, what's the feeling there? Are the fans feeling confident at this stage?
They certainly are, Cam, and you can hear just how confident they are. Why wouldn't they be after the year they've had? They are a few nervous fans here, hoping to end an 8-year drought. Now this is Bulldogs headquarters. There will be a massive party here tonight if they do win. The message from the club is that the fans won't be allowed to get in here. Only the team will be allowed to get in here. Already 2,000 people here. It's packed to capacity. And the message is the fans will have to find somewhere else to celebrate. It won't be hard to find a party in Belmore.
We may never see Matt Snelson again, but we get the message. They're pretty excited. It is a never-ending party for the Sydney Swans and their legion of loyal fans. The exhausted but happy players divided their time between two cities today to celebrate their stunning 10-point victory.
A game day atmosphere took over the SCG. This was more than an after party, rather a thank you to the fans who couldn't get to the main show. Even with sunglasses covering weary eyes, it was clear the players are still on a high.
It was pretty big. I'm actually one of the few that got some sleep.
On a big day for rugby league, this reception means the world to the Swans. Their performance has won over a legion of new red and white supporters.
The team hasn't stopped since the siren rang. After a lavish grand final dinner, they spent the morning celebrating with the diehards at their spiritual home in South Melbourne.
It was like a dream, mate. I haven't had much sleep, so I'm waiting for someone to wake me up.
But a quick look at that trophy sitting in Sydney, they'll realise it is a dream, one that's come true. Ros Kelly, 9 News.
Well, in all this excitement, we need a calm voice of reason. Ken Sutcliffe has the sport next from ANZ Stadium. A cracking day for it, Ken.
Oh, it's just terrific out here, Cam. Really magnificent. And the kick-off to the big game not far away. The Bulldogs are a family club, and that's certainly the case for Ben Barber as he prepares for the game of his life. He loves us all, and boxing loves him. Jeff Fennick and the boys hit Vegas.